Hey everyone, Laurel here, Minnesota Zone 5A. I thought I'd show you just a little bit of my process for planting up my containers. This area I got planted this weekend, and I just have the last batch of containers to do over here so I can kind of show you how it starts. I also got everything along the windows potted up, and this takes me several weeks typically, but now it is the blue and white section that I'm potting up. So as I purchase annuals, I kind of rearrange things where I think they're going to go in these trays and arrange my pots. So I'm going to have to clear all this out of here, arrange my pots how I think they want to go, and then I'll start filling them with soil and arranging the annuals. So I will show you that process. But it's going to be in cuts. I am, if you're not familiar with my channel, I don't really edit videos. I work full-time in an office inside all summer long. And so the last thing I want to do is sit inside on a computer editing videos in my precious garden free time. So anyway, I'm just going to make a whole bunch of cuts and we'll put it all together in the end. Hopefully this works out. So I will be back and show you the pots and how I arrange those. All right, so I have all the pots arranged. I'll probably have to make a few shifts as I go, as I get things planted and plan out where I want things to be. I have a rough where I want them to be. I have a rough idea of where I want everything to end up. But it always changes a little bit as I get going. My trays of annuals are over here, the colors that are going to go in this area. I'm going for a little bit more monochrome over here just to make it look like less of a jumble. I mean, I like a jumble of plants and color, but just trying something different. I haven't done that before, where like monoculture too, where one planter might just be one plant. We'll see. We'll see what I come up with. I will show you, I use little pieces of landscape fabric over all the drain holes. That keeps the soil from flowing out and helps keep the drain holes from getting plugged. That's just cheap. It's one of the cheap landscape fabrics. But now several years ago, because these last several years, I keep reusing them. Every fall when I pull them out, I just stuff them in a pot and then reuse them the next year until they fall apart. I will also use, like, if something has an unusually big or unusually small drain hole, like for instance my concrete pots, which always have like teeny tiny drain holes and tend to get plugged up, I'll put a piece of chicken wire on the drain hole and then the landscape fabric over it. And that keeps the hole from being plugged up. Like the chicken wire holds up the landscape fabric so it doesn't start to sink down into the hole. I've also found that works. Anything that I put like out in the landscape that's not sitting on concrete, like my big pot way out there, anything that's basically on any kind of dirt. I do that with the chicken wire because I have voles, and when I have not done that, before I started doing that, the voles would inevitably burrow up through the drain hole, empty out half the soil through the drain hole out the bottom of the pot, and start eating the roots of my plants. So I would come and see this giant pile of soil next to the pot, and then when I cleaned them out, it was like half empty, like the bottom half of the soil was just missing. So anyway, once I started putting chicken wire over the drain holes for everything in the landscape, I stopped having issues with voles. That is also why I had a bunch of pot feets and I used to raise these up off the concrete to help with drainage, but again, the voles were getting in there, and then they're just hard to move around. Like, you kind of have to stay put once you have them on feet, and they're full, especially when the plants are full. So I stopped doing that. I just leave them on the concrete now. So anyway, what I have here is a bucket of soil. This is old potting soil. I reuse my potting soil every year. I only discard it if it has disease or insect issues in a particular planter. Otherwise, I save it in 5-gallon buckets in the shed. I save it in the big giant, like 2 cubic foot bags of soil. I just keep reusing those. I throw them in the shed in the winter, fill them back up with used soil for the pots that I have to empty out in order to put up on the shelves for storage for the winter. The huge pots like this one here, I can't lift that up onto a shelf anyway. Even if I emptied it out of soil, it's too heavy. Well, that one maybe because it's resin, but definitely not like the big concrete ones or any of those bigger glazed pots. So those just keep the soil in them from year to year. And then I top off, you always lose a little bit of soil when you're cleaning them out. It sticks to the root ball or whatever. So I fill, like this one's a good example. I fill it about that full with old potting soil, and then I recharge the old stuff with, I'll go over this in a later portion, with worm castings and like granular all-purpose fertilizer. I usually buy Espoma plant tone in a big huge bag, just that'll last me the whole season. But I recharge the old soil, mix it up, top it off with fresh soil, kind of mix it in, and then I plant. And that has served me well for over 10 years now. I even, as I've said in previous years, even when I moved from my apartment where I had a balcony garden to this house, I took my potting soil with me that I had in bags. I just moved the bags of soil. So it's followed me around, and I've never had any issues. Again, as long as I'm mindful to discard any soil that had plants with disease issues or insect infestations. Like I have had thrips for a couple of years. And so in one container in particular, or one area, so that soil I discard for sure. So stay tuned. I'm going to get these filled out and start laying out my annuals, and I'll show you the next part of the process. All right, next part, I got all my pots filled with the old soil from previous years. And I did top up, this is the fertilizer I'm using this year and frequently use year to year. I usually buy, this is a 36-pound bag of Espoma plant tone. I can usually find this for about 40 bucks. And this fills all of my containers, all my plantings. Usually I have a little bit left over. I actually scoop it into this, I don't know what this was, cheese balls or some kind of snack, this bucket here, to make it easier to cart around. This is a half-cup scoop. Big containers like this one get a full half cup, maybe more. I'm not super precious about measuring. So those two got a half cup. These got maybe, I don't know, 2/3 of one of these in the medium ones, and then maybe quarter cup in the smaller pots-ish. You really can't overdo it too much with the plant tone, so whatever you throw in there. And then the black stuff on top of the plant tone is worm castings. So I pick up these bags from Costco every spring, earthworm castings. And I have this old mug that's chipped and leaks, and I use that to scoop it out. So I do, I don't know, maybe a fullish one of these in the big pots and half of that, one of those in the smaller medium pots. Again, can't really overdo it on the earthworm castings. So mix that all in, and then I will top with, this is the bag that I'm on now. I have different kinds of potting soil. Oh, excuse me. Cottonwood seeds are flying and keep blowing in my nose. I haven't tried this kind before. It's pretty good. Sunshine Mix 4. Got this at Menards in a bale, 2.2 cubic feet. I think it was about $24, so not too bad. I also use Pro Mix. I've used the Kellogg Organics raised bed and potting mix. That's a better deal because you get a 2 cubic foot bag, the pink bags, for $10 at Home Depot versus their one that's labeled potting mix, which essentially has the same ingredients and is only 1.5 cubic foot bag for $10. And that one has less potting or peat moss in it. But anyway, this has a lot of perlite, I find. So I've been using that up. My favorite is the Coast of Maine brand, and I was able to find 2 cubic foot bags of that for $20. So I have used a few of those as well. So, I don't spend a lot of money, but I don't go for the cheapest stuff I can find either, and it's always worked out for me. Haven't used Miracle Grow in years. Usually I can find other stuff for a better deal, so that's what I use. Yeah, so I'll mix the salt in, top with this fresh potting soil and mix it in, and then start placing my plants. And again, the containers might move around as I start placing plants and figure out where everything is going to go. And I might, most likely will, if I am not lying to myself, add an extra planter or two to this area as well. So I'll be back with that. And you can see also something that helps. I'm constantly mixing in every year some fresh soil. So it is being refreshed a little bit every year. And I go through several bags with all my pots of the fresh soil, even just topping them off. Like it always takes more than I think. So it is constantly being refreshed bit by bit every year as well. But just very important to make sure that you recharge it with some good slow release fertilizer to make up for what the plants consumed from last year in your old soil. So, all right, I'll be back with the next part. All right, we are back. We have the layout set. You can see there's some kitten action going on. More kittens around. 2 of them this time. And there's their mom. They're coming for the food, but it's actually empty, so I'll have to fill that. Anyway, I did add an extra pot here in the middle, as I kind of thought I might. And I think this is the layout I'm going to go with. If I do want to switch these up mid-season, this layout will allow me to do so. It'll be pretty easy to do and shift things around. Sometimes that happens as they grow. They need to be shifted around. So we're going to try this out, see what happens. So I have everything filled, fertilized, mixed in, and now all I have to do is pop the plants in and then water everything. And we should be good to go. And you can see some of the plants are showing signs of stress. This is the hard part about doing this many pots is you kind of have to pick stuff up early in the season or it sells out if there are particular things you really want. Things go really fast. So I collect pretty much all of my plants in May, just about 99%. There might be a straggler here and there that I need. But I do pick up extra things, little fillers, like I pick up a few Dichondra Silver Falls, even if I don't have specific plans for them. Those are easy to tuck in. Same with the Meizu. I'll be trying to overwinter more of those this year because that worked out well for me. But yeah, so we'll get these planted. I'll go through, let's see, I might as well just go through this area since I'm here. This is sort of my weird transition pot. Look at that little kitten back there. They're so stinking cute. Ugh, I wish they just had homes. So we're going from our warm sort of pinks, orange, reds over here. This is a red salvia. I just had to deadhead it, but it's putting out new blooms. And the Mini-Me Watermelon Coleus, so a little bit more of a warm tone. And then I picked up this new verbena that I just wanted to try because it looked really pretty. I was seeing it everywhere this year. The Lascar Mango Orange verbena. I have an extra vinca, which I have Tattoo Black Cherry. I have those planted all along the windows. A few extra from my 6-pack of Dusty Miller. And then this poor thing. These containers, I love the Eco Pots from Proven Winners that they are biodegradable. So when I throw them away, I know it's not just creating microplastics, but they are not good at holding on to water. So this Bacopa is very stressed out. So it will bounce back when I plant it, but it's kind of a bummer. Anyway, that is the, oh, and I took the tag out. That is the Proven Winners Bacopa Snowstorm, maybe it's called. This is the first year I was able to get a hold of the Surefire White begonia from Proven Winners. I've had really good luck with the other Surefire begonias, so I wanted to try that one. Again, stressed out from being in the container. That tends to happen when I have to buy everything early, and then some stuff just inevitably kind of sits for weeks. This is a Cerveza Lime Plectranthus that I overwintered. That is in ornamental cabbage that I grew from seed. We've got the Angel Face Blue Angelonia. This is the Laguna Compact Blue with Eye lobelia. I have grown that before in full sun, and it did great. We've got a Meizu. This is the Super Bell's Grape Punch, one of my favorites. Super vigorous, just one of those in that pot. We've got the Hoopla Vivid Orchid Supertunia, Super Bina Whiteout, some of the biggest blooms I've ever seen on a verbena. This one's brand new to me, so I'm excited to try this. Beth's Blue Isotoma Oxylaris. Haven't grown that before, don't know what it is. I have to look up Starflower. I have to look up details on it, but so far it's been super drought tolerant. It's really little plant can here for weeks. So that's going to be sort of my thriller in this small pot. And then I have this Helichrysum. What's this one called? Silver Mist. I just like the small leaves on that. So that'll kind of fill and spill. This is a Calibrachoa that I was very impressed with at the garden center. Let's see, is the tag in here somewhere? Here it is. Ombre Purple by Danzinger. It's just one plant. It's huge. So that's going by itself in this container. Ombre Purple Danzinger. Calibrachoa stay smaller, and they're more drought tolerant than petunias, so I can put them in smaller containers. Petunias need more root space and more water, so I tend to do those in a little bit larger spaces. We've got 3 Supertunia Mini Vistas. I finally found, again, Mini Vista Indigo. I've been waiting for that to come back for several years. That's probably my favorite Mini Vista I've ever grown. We also have the Supertunia Mini Vista Midnight. And yeah, this one is Supertunia Mini Vista Blue Star. So that combination together. I've got 2 of the Superbena Sparkling Amethyst in here. Beautiful combination. Love that Superbena, along with a Dichondra Silver Falls. And then we have this Superbena. I haven't grown this one before. So Violet Ice. I haven't grown it for a full season anyway. I might have gotten it on clearance late in the season. This was one I got for like $1 super clearance. It's the Superbena, what was it? It's like the white and blue Storm Cloud. Overwintered it. It dried out a little over the winter and really died back, but it didn't die, and I've been waiting for it. It's just now starting to finally push some real new growth. Wasn't sure if it was going to survive, so I'm planting those 2 together in there. And then I have 2 of the Supertunia Tiara Blue in here with the Rock and Blue Suede Shoes Salvia as a thriller. Hummingbirds love that. I've grown that for many years. The only thing to be aware of, the Proven Winners, they're large salvias. The stems are really brittle, so they break easily. So if you get a bad windstorm, it'll break off big stems. So that's the one thing I don't like about those. It'd be nice if they had stronger stems. And then over here, I've got a purple elephant ear that I started from a corm, a green elephant ear that I started from a corm. I have another of the Cerveza and Lime that I overwintered from last year, and the Proven Accents Sweetheart Jet Black potato vine to go in that. There was only one plant, and then this will coordinate with this little planter that I have, the blue and white, and then I'll do, I think that Oxalis is going to go over there. I have a number of other plants that can go in that spot. And I did end up with one extra over here. This licorice vine. I have grown this particular variety before. This is the Proven Winners. Look how sturdy those stems are. Just white licorice vine. This one is different, like these super crazy stems from other ones that I've grown that trail a little bit more. That one really sticks out and takes over. So I decided not to use it in here, but I might just come in and plant it in the back. Oh, in the center of this also, I have my poles up to climb. This is a purple hyacinth bean vine, Ruby Moon, that I start from seed. And then I have my bamboo poles, but I also strung a line up to a hook so that it has something to climb and get extra tall. Because that'll climb forever if you let it. So that'll be my thriller, but I'm thinking of just sticking my licorice vine in the back here, and it'll kind of cover up this space, maybe in the back corner. These begonias will kind of go under on this bench, under that. All those were all overwintered begonias that I picked up, most of them on clearance last year, or I grew last year. So yeah, so that's the configuration. That's kind of how I put each section together. I've been doing the color blocking for a number of years and really like it. A lot of times I do sort of individual containers with individual arrangements, but this year in this area I wanted to try a little bit more. I mean, I guess not completely a monoculture, but multiples of different plants to see, and I ended up with a lot of trailers, a lot of supertunia, because that's what I could find. So anyway, I will be back with a full container garden tour once everything is planted and ready to go. That should be soon. So we'll go over every variety that I planted, all my plan and my motif. We're making progress. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Please subscribe. Okay, one more bonus few minutes here. I decided I should show you the results of everything planted. I wasn't able to film it last night because I didn't finish planting everything until it was pretty much dark out. And then we got rain this afternoon. So everything is freshly rained upon, but it is all now planted. And I decided to keep it how I laid it out as I was planting. You can see I have all my extra plants here now back around the grouping. This is sort of my temporary holding spot, but yep, everything kind of laid out pretty similar. Now it'll all fill in. These plants, I mean, I like doing individual containers like this because I can adjust and move them around so that it fills in the gaps here as well, but they will all touch and kind of mingle in the end. And I did end up planting this little licorice vine behind there, so that'll kind of take over that area. That particular, this one with the really stiff stems is actually really nice to use in like cut flower arrangements as an accent. That white color, right now it's kind of rained on, so it'll look more green, but that white color really pops, and those stems last forever in the vase. So cut a long stem, take off the bottom leaves, and you have a really cool accent in a cut flower arrangement. And it's a good way to keep it size controlled. There goes my neighbor on his scooter. So, yep, that's it. Just wanted to show you everything all planted up and final. Bye-bye.